Hare Krishna. Question: is there any near-death experience that conclusively proves the existence of a soul different from the body? Answer: what near-death experiences prove or provide evidence for is that there is consciousness which exists beyond the brain's neurochemical functioning. And among near-death experiences, the out-of-body experience, which is one of the most significant parts of the near-death experience. That means in the out-of-body experience, people experience how they are outside the body and they are seeing from outside the body. Now, these out-of-body experiences are extraordinary in themselves, and there are many experiences in which the subject has not only given accurate perceptions but has given accurate perceptions that are impossible to achieve by normal means. Normal means that I'll categorize these into 4 different things. First is that Dr. Michael Sebom, who was one of the pioneers in near-death research, near-death experience research, so he tried to test the accuracy of the near-death experiences reports based on their possible general knowledge, and he found that some of them gave precise now I'm quoting from his book Recollections of Death. So there was this patient who gave a very precise explanation of how a machine works, and this working on, there's an article on my website, near-death experience or near eternity experiences. It is a shortened extract from my new book on the mystery of reincarnation. So there, not only does he describe how this came about, but also that how that machine is operated. That machine was a very technical machine, not known to general people, and that was also a machine which is an old type, which is no longer available in current times. So it is extremely unlikely the person could have known this. That's one level. Just there are many reports like this where what the person has known is not knowable by general knowledge. Now another theory could be that these are just hallucinations, but hallucinations cannot produce accurate perception. And if the hallucinations created by chemicals, then as in a Lancet article, Dr. Pim Van Lommel, who is a prominent researcher and has written a book called Near-Death Experiences, The Science of NDE. So he states in the Lancet article that if these NDEs were hallucinations caused by some chemicals, whichever they may be, excessive carbon dioxide or whatever, the point, whichever be the chemical cause, then these near-death experiences should be present. All those who have been NDE should have experienced OBs. Near-death experiences, any person who goes near death, and all those, if they are subjected to those conditions, they should experience these OBs, but not all of them do. So it cannot be ascribed to a chemical cause. Now beyond that, there are people who have reported things from further beyond their vicinity. So for example, Dr. Michael Crickmore in his book Human Devolution reports further what Dr. Sebom and others have done research. So herein he explains how there was a patient who had been admitted, surgery had been done, and he's in hospital. He's in the recovery mode. So his relatives would come to meet him. His wife and one of his children would come to see him in the hospital daily. And one day he suddenly got a heart attack. And while he got a heart attack, he was inside the operating room. And at that time, when he was under cardiac arrest, unconscious, at that time, his relatives were outside. They had not even come to meet him, and he had no idea that who was going to come, because every day a different child would come with his mother. But he reported accurately who was there outside and what they were doing. Now he was himself unconscious, his face was turned away from the door, and there were several doors in between the operation theatre and the place where his relatives were there. So how was he able to remember this? So this is not just knowledge of something which is in one's vicinity, but it is about knowledge where it is not in one's vicinity. So even if he had been conscious, he would not have been able to report this. What to speak of when he's unconscious? And further, Dr. Sam Parnia in UK has also done extensive research, and he has found several cases of where patients were clearly, indubitably unconscious, and still they reported accurate perceptions. And probably the most materially inexplicable case will be that of Pam Reynolds. This is again reported by Dr. Sabon. So Pam Reynolds was a young woman. She had an aneurysm, a swelling at the bottom of her brain, and there was no way she could have survived unless there was a particular surgery which one Dr. Spetzler has pioneered. It is called Operation Standstill. Why is it called Operation Standstill? Because to do this surgery, the whole body has to be brought down to zero functioning. It has to be brought to a standstill. So how the surgery is done is, and the person is given an artificial heart attack, cardiac arrest. So when the heart stops functioning, and then when the blood flow to the brain stops, then there is the head is opened, the cranial cavity is opened, and after that the brain is taken out, and then right at the bottom of the brain, which is the aneurysm is there, that can be removed. So it's a very dangerous surgery, and at the same time there was no alternative, so the surgery was done for her. Now it's and the whole body is frozen, because at that time, for the body's functionality to be maintained and for the surgery to be performed, the blood flow has to be checked, and for various other functions the whole body has to be frozen. So the point is that there is no doubt that the person is completely unconscious. There's a cardiac arrest, which is artificially induced, and after that the brain cavity is opened. Now, to ensure that the patient is completely unconscious, there are earplugs which are put on the ears. So this was what happened with Pam Reynolds also. And these earplugs give a loud sound at a very high frequency. So this sound is like a kettle drum, or if a person is standing on the railway station and then a high speed train moves, it's a loud sound, and it comes at a very high frequency, several times in many times in a second. It's heard. So the idea is that if the person is even slightly conscious, then that person will respond, and if that person doesn't respond to even this sound, which is so loud and so frequent, then one can understand that this person is conclusively unconscious, and definitely unconscious. Now it was in such a state where there is just no chance of the person being conscious that Pam Reynolds had a NDE and OBE. She had a near-death experience in which she saw herself from outside her body, and then she saw that her hair had been cut from in a strange way, and then she saw with alarm that somebody was cutting her thigh. She was wondering, this is supposed to be brain surgery, why is somebody cutting her thigh? And then she heard a voice that one female one cardiac specialist, she was telling Dr. Spetzler that I am unable to find the blood vessel. So he says, try on the other leg, and they started tried opening the other leg and trying to find the proper blood vessel. And in this way she heard a conversation. Now this was a precise conversation. Now this was not, again it is some skeptics argue that whatever conversation or whatever events people describe, they may be just guesswork, but this is a precise conversation which is not likely to happen, that whether to do take a blood vessel from this leg or that leg. So this is not, the very specific details she remembered. And now Dr. Spetzler himself, when he heard about this NDE, he said that from the medical point of view, there is just no way she could have been conscious, because for all practical purposes she was completely unconscious. So now what this means is, she was unconscious, as is evident from the artificially induced cardiac arrest, as is induced from the brain waves coming flat, as is known also from the earplugs which are giving a very loud sound and which are getting no response. She's definitely unconscious. And even if she was somehow conscious, then because of that loud sound coming in the ear, there is no way she could have heard this speech. And even if we argue that she somehow, maybe some little residual consciousness was remaining and she would have heard the speech, but then she did not at all hear any of these clicks which were coming through the earplugs. So she did not report having the slightest strain, because if clicks at that loud intensity and that high frequency are coming, then it will be a disturbance in hearing. But she did not feel any disturbance, and she did not have to strain at all to hear it. So Dr. Spetzler says, medically I don't know how to explain this, but still I have seen enough incomprehensible things during my medical career to not say that it can't happen. Just don't know how it could have happened. So the point is, she herself, when she was asked about it, she said that she was seeing from a perspective above and she was directly hearing from there. So her vision as well as her hearing was through non-physical means, and this is one of the most conclusive cases, because what all could be the possible objections to near-death experiences. First is that it's hallucinations, but then, as I said, that not everyone gets that, and then not everyone who goes to the same experience gets that. If it is a hallucination created by chemicals, if it is a hallucination created by some other fact also, some other, just a person's individual psychology or something like that, then how within the hallucination can someone give such accurate information? And that accurate information, which is just not possible for a person to know by general knowledge, which is so unusual that the person cannot know it by guesswork, that knowledge which is just not possible to have because the person is utterly unconscious without any doubt. So therefore cases like this are definitive evidence for the existence of a consciousness, a source of consciousness separate from the body, which continues to exist and act in some cases when the body is unconscious. And that's how these people are conscious when medically they are supposed to be unconscious. Thank you. Hare Krishna.